Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I want us to look into the other narratives that are emerging after the death of Pakistan investigative journalist known as Arshad Sharrif. I must talk about this because this is one of us. Before I look at that, I want to say a big thank you for the Bold family. Oh my goodness, the camera is here. We bought the new camera, Canon 250D. It's compatible with the one we're also using to shoot. That's the one I had even before. And of course, yes, this is it. We have the new camera. Yes, and now this is the charger. This is the charger for the camera. And yes, this is the memory. This was the memory card it came with. What else was there? Yeah, we also had. So it was also. We also had the bag. Is over there, and I want to say thank you, Asante Sana, that just doing the 10 days fundraiser, and God was on our side. At camera, I bought the camera at Camera Africa. Yes, and I'm saying because they gave me a discount. In a position to purchase it at 73,000, not even the 78 that initially had bought the one that I'm using. And I want to say thank you because the proceeds, what has remained, I collected a total of 86,000. So I remained with close to 15K that went to supporting some young girls I normally support back home. Young girls who are still in secondary school. Tunasaidiana tu, nalipa 1,500 and life moves on. So part of the proceed of that fundraiser have gone to that. And I'm saying that because to testify of what the little that you gave did not just go into camera. It also impacted into someone's life. Asante sana. Service to humanity for me beats all. Now, I want us to look back to the big story that has been trending in this country for the last 12 hours. The accidental death of Pakistan investigative journalist Arshad Sharrif. He was specialized in investigative journalism and covered many political events in his country for national and international news organizations. And directly, I want us to look at one version that is the only version that is now available, the police version. We look at the police version, then compare it with what the journalists and his colleagues that are from Pakistan are saying, and draw parallel by what the bold and what would be an observation on this. This, according to police, Kenyan authorities, there was a carjacking incident and even involved kidnapping of a child in Pangani, this other side of Nairobi. And so the police were on alert. They must have erected roadblocks, maybe on the outskirts of the city. So the DCI Astara is the person that, of course, raised the alarm, according to the story. And later on, police erected roadblocks in Magadi, Nairobi Road. So, according to them, a car came and they allegedly refused to stop at that roadblock. And after declining to stop, police chased them briefly. And that's where the shooting incident happened. The incident left the car with 9 bullet holes on the left side of the windscreen, which is the side that deceased was sitting. 2 bullet holes rear left back screen, 1 bullet hole on the rear left right door, 4 holes right side of the boot, and one front right tire had been deflated. So that's what they're saying. So what is also been revealed that it was a case of mistaken identity. And this is the interesting bit. The car that he was using, the deceased was using, was KDJ of Jag. And supposedly, the car that was being pursued to have been involved in the carjacking in Pangani was KDG, to still KDG, G for girl. The difference was only on pronunciation. But if you're pursuing KDJ, you'll probably find it will not be difficult to distinct it with KDG. That's my point. But that seems to be what is being said. The body was later transferred to Chiromo. Now, interestingly, I have followed what the journalists are saying from his colleagues from Pakistan are saying, and there seems to be one, they are actually ignoring and underscoring the police version of his death. And they seems to be attacking their government back home, that it is their government that was responsible for what befell Sharrif back in Nairobi. I want just look some few responses from them, then we'll draw the diagonal now, the parallel. The driver was also shot as he sustained injuries on the head. But if a car jumps a security roadblock and is suspected of criminal intention, who should be shot? The driver or the passenger? Don't know what you think. Hamid Park is saying, Kenyan police version raised some pertinent questions. Why they never fired on the tire of the vehicle? Why they never targeted the driver? Why they shot Arshad Sharrif directly in the head? Pakistan government, Sharif was so criticized Pakistan government, and they must come clean on this aspect. So you've seen what has actually emerged. And I want to be a bit objective enough to point out that, to me, it looks like international syndicate touching on high-profile criminal cases. The Pakistan journals are actually discrediting, or rather dismissing, the police story as a proxy. They actually feel that this thing is not about us Kenyans. It's not about Kenya. It's not about Nairobi. It's way above it. But I really want to concur with them in this ground. You know, our President William Ruto is now implementing an elaborate policy, or an elaborate reform agenda at the DCI to dismantle what he perceives as elements, or rather units, that were executing illicit human violations. That's what you said. And to that effect, there's been that bit of a tension. We have a police system that is under tension, or rather is depressed. And so them being involved in such a high profile mistaken identity issue, it points out, it shows that it's not highly possible unless a thicker blood is involved. And that is why I agree with what the Pakistan journals are saying, because they're simply saying that, look here, this is not about the Kenyan story. We are not buying the Kenyan story. They are actually calling on their government on the other end to be held accountable. We We have our own problems, even though our security system has to be overhauled, must be overhauled on that. John Allen Namu made a confession and a revelation that at one point he was interviewed by the late journalist who was working on a story of corruption, some, international corruption going to the international stage. What exactly happens on such cases? So that, to many fact, people looked at it as if he is a man that was tracked down. The journalists are actually saying that because of the hostility between him and the government back home, he was exiled. At one point, he was in Dubai, he was in London, before he came to Kenya, where he was working and was struck down. But even the driver, who is his brother, was also a Pakistan national from Pakistan. So the issue, the reason why you can see it looks like something above the police version. It looks like something of international syndicate is because the kind of interest in it. I've seen journalists from the Daily Mail, UK, see the Daily Monitor. I have seen the Washington Post, see the Fox. And there've been a lot of the international lenses, the BBC. International lenses are on that story, are on that incident. And there seems to no one is pursuing. Of course, people are dismissive of what the Kenyan authorities are saying, but it seems people are looking at something big. I don't know what you make on it. Now, Pakistan journalists are actually blaming their government and not pursuing the Kenyan story. I have seen the wife has even said that he wants Twitter to pull down photos of the husband, latest photos from the husband, journalists not to visit their home with cameras, houses with cameras to make any inquiry. Of course, it's a bit deep, and for the family, we also pray that God will comfort them, give them comfort that surpasses the human understanding. This is coming at a wrong time, and William Ruto's plan, an ambitious plan to dismantle these cartels, is something that requires divine intervention. This is the most difficult system to crack. I can't say it's the most because it's you are cracking them by themselves. You want an police officer to investigate a police officer and to punish. Oh, I'm telling you, it's not that easy. It's one of the most difficult one. I don't know whether if he was saying of Qatar, this is one he was starting with, and if he decided to start with the one of the uniformed forces, it's going to be a tall order. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I don't know what you think on this issue. What is your position? Are you the Pakistan journalists or you're buying the Kenyan authorities story?